Howdy YouTube folks. I may or may not post this tonight, but I got a video topic on my mind that is just bugging me, and there's 3 components to my topic. This is going to be a true topic. The other one was a project. That was my mishap, putting topic instead of projects on that video. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. 3 parts to this topic. 1, I'm going to say this right out, and people can disagree with me, they can piss on me, but you want to know what? I think, and this is an example because I watched something, what you deem as a transgender woman, I believe is an actual female. Their minds identify as female, their brain is female, and all they want is acceptance. And I don't understand why some people, and I'm not saying everybody, but some of you people that are gonna hate this video for that point, have a right to decide other people's life. And I've used this as an example, and I will use it again. 1950s Christianity church Bible crap. Back in the 1950s, people were always that way. They were even that way towards people who are gay. Now, I understand where you're going with this. I don't understand, but you know what I mean? Like, I can see where you're trying to go with this, but I don't understand it. Because first off, the most important thing to put into that retro as the 1950s, people were very close-minded and naive back then. And I'm sorry, it's the way I feel. I mean, I respect some people. There's older people that are out for accepting people, and I'm not saying all, but most people back then were naive because they didn't know about medical practices. They didn't know about better medicine. They didn't have it. Heck, they thought autism was a mental illness, when in fact most people who had autism wasn't mentally ill. Now there's extreme forms of autism where they have to be in a place because they hit their heads on stuff, but I am autistic, and yeah, I'm not the smartest person in the world, you know. I didn't hit the honor roll in class like everybody believed back in the 50s was supposed to happen. But look at me. I'm not hitting my heads on stuff, banging things, smashing into stuff. So, you know, I don't understand that. And to clarify, this is going to be a long video, because I'm getting in depth topic here. But I don't understand where you correlate the difference. And, like, you know, where that's wrong, because somebody feels a way in their head, and I think they need to express it. It's not fair for people to bottle up their emotions, and furthermore, this is 2018, and a lot of people have brought that up, but quite honestly, this is not 1950s anymore, and if you're going to live in the past and ignore everything that science has studied and figured out, go ahead. It's like back in the 50s. Here's another example of something in the 50s that isn't exactly onto the topic, but I think you can kind of get the idea. Is you hear about like these people that did all these violent crimes and stuff and took another person's life. Well, back in those times, they thought that, you know, they needed a reason for it. And science found out that actually 1 in every 100 people could have that brain mentality. And most people nowadays still don't get it, and they still want an excuse. So, you know, it's like examples like that are a way to bring it up. And yeah, that's a little off topic, but see, that's my point. Anyways, the other thing I don't understand is about, I'm not saying I disagree with feminism per se. I just think that some of it I don't understand, but I do understand where I think women need more rights. Women need more, I believe, and this is just my firm belief. This is getting into the part about feminism, which has to tie into all this, I think, but maybe not, is that, like, feminists even think, oh, well, you can't identify as female, you just want to be like us. You want to be like us. You want to look like us. You're fuck. No, that's not true. People have an identity, and that's what it is. There's no choice about it. That's where I don't understand with feminism. I also don't understand about feminism how a male thinks he can be superior than a female. And I'm sorry if this hurts people's feelings. I believe everybody should be equally. There is no woman cooks and cleans crud. Yeah, you had that when you were a kid, but I honestly don't understand the whole point of the woman cooks and cleans thing and the man needing to be superior than the woman. I mean, get over it, people. It's life. I'm sorry, but life is life, and we need to live life and live with the times and be more cultural. I think women and men should be equal. I think women's products that they buy shouldn't be cost more than a male pays for his. I don't know, that's just my opinion. People can disagree with me, they can agree with me, I don't care. I mean, I'll be thankful for those that agree with me, but if there's people that disagree with me, I don't care what you think. Your opinion is crock anyways, because your science is from a little black book called the Bible. And I'm not saying some people can say, well, I'm not Christian and I still believe these things and I'm atheist and that's all cool, but you think if you're atheism, you wouldn't believe practices that come from the Bible. No offense. But everything you say against these things is pretty much from the Bible. It's the Bible telling you. So how can you not be a Bible worshiper? Because that's what the Bible states. And if anybody reads the Bible, would understand where I'm coming from that disagrees, that, believes in equality for people, humanity living the way they want. And that's why I'm kind of touching on equality. And I just don't understand it. And I'm all for people who worship the Christian religion. Even though I was born in a Christian family, I don't. I consider myself religionless, kinda. Anyways, I mean, I respect people that do that, and that's all fine for you, but just know what you're reading and know that everything you're reading is not accurate, because in fact everything you're reading out of that book that you think is God's words is actually written by a person. And if a person has a belief or they think this is the way it should be, they're going to write it down and tell you that anyways. Everybody says, well, it's God's words. How do you know it's God's words? Did God physically put those in Scripture for you? Oh, by a man, by Moses? But if you read the part about Moses, it doesn't state anything about what you deem transgenderism and gay, lesbian stuff, like LGBTQ. That was not mentioned in the Moses story. That was not a commandment in the Moses story. That was just something. The third, I kind of touched the third thing, I guess. The other thing I don't understand about, the whole equality is, you hear about these feminists, they think it's wrong, people doing this, and then you got, oh, well, when in fact I think people should live equal, because it's bad enough in this world that you have a person like a CEO at your work, and granted, some of them are real nice, but they're richer than you are. You can't even afford to start your own business if you even wanted to, for most, and you're not making money, and they're sitting. So I believe there's a lot more, this is just an example, I believe there's a lot more things in this world to worry about than a person having equal or better rights. I should say more like better rights than somebody else, and saying that this person can't live in their identity. I am always going to identify as I identify as, and I know this because I have similar issues with what you deem transgenderism, and so I know what my identity is as a human, and I think everybody has an identity as a human. And in case you're wondering, yes, I have questioned identity stuff and like that, and that's, just me. I believe everybody has an identity. I believe we're all unique in our own way, and we should all stick together and not decide which one's better. I was watching a video on YouTube of a BBC interview with a famous feminist, and I'm sure you've all heard of her. And that's as far as I'm going to go, because I don't like naming names. Plus, I don't really remember the name, but I don't like putting names in there. From the 70s, and a lot of people from back then will know who I'm talking about. And it irked me, her thoughts on it. And furthermore, how can you cost somebody their job because of that scenario? And she did. She made somebody lose their job because they identified as female, and she pointed it out and made them lose their job. How is that fair? Just because you don't like it, you can get somebody's job costed? See, it's like things like that I don't understand. Because in the end, it's humanity. And she felt glorious about them losing their job. I don't think that's something to be glorious about, somebody losing their job and struggling in life. So you honestly think that they should just give up on life and go put a gun to their head? That's not fair, because that's basically what you're saying. They don't deserve to be in society. Well, what about, I think there's more people, there's tons of other groups of people in this world that aren't fit for society, and I don't think people like that are. I think people that are like got the serial killer brain, now that is deemed unfit for society, because they just want to take the whole world out. And killing is a form of destruction. Sorry about scratching my eyes. And those are people that aren't deemed to this world. So when you think of stuff like that, just remember, there are actually people in this world that aren't deemed to be in this world in my book, and what you call transgenderism is not one of it. Anyways, I thank you so much, YouTubers, because this was a long rant, but it was a needed video in my book from what I just watched recently on YouTube, just before I did this, that I feel needed to come out and needed to be said, because a lot of people think they know what other people's lives should be, and I just don't understand that. Excuse me, my nose is running, and I just don't understand why people need to decide other people's lives for them, and say they know what makes a person happy, and say they know what's meant to be because the Bible says so, because that's not science. That never was science. The Bible never inspired science. The whole crap that went on about them saying that science discovered that everybody's DNA was linked back to a man named God is not at all correct, because nobody even knows if God existed. And how can a spirit how can a spirit have a child with a woman when it isn't even alive? I'm not saying they can't physically manifest themselves, but I just don't see that possible. So that's a little bit of crocky. Anyways, thank you, YouTubers, and have an excellent time, whatever it is, wherever you are. Keep your heads up, stay strong, and remember, your life matters, and you be whoever you want to be. I support you. I think you're very important. I'm going through stuff myself along that lines a little bit, and I'm not going to get into further detail for my own personal reasons. Hard explanation, but it is what it is. And so anyways, keep your heads up. Thank you so much, and goodbye.